Hi, welcome. Well, pull up a cuppa. Where did it come from? Well, when I was at university, I was trying to work out what I had to do for a module. I couldn't work it out. So, pardon me, I went in the kitchen, put the kettle on, came back with a cup of tea, and went, yeah, I can sort it all out now. What actually happened was I had to work out, why did I feel better now I had this cup of tea? So why did this cup of tea make it easier for me to make a decision? So I thought about all the times that I would use a cup of tea. Why did we, as Brits here in the UK, we use a cup of tea for various reasons. So I started looking about why we do it. The podcast came about because I wanted to look at what happens, bit of a social experiment. What happens if you put two people in a room, give them a cup of each, and leave them to talk? Sorry, this is wobbling around. What would happen? So I took it in turns with lots of different people to sit in a room with no agenda about what we would talk about, to see what would happen. Would it be easy to talk? Would I learn anything? Not just about new subjects, but could I learn anything about me? So I did this for my third year as a project within my third year of my degree. Fast forward a year later in my master's, and I utilised the same academic principles of dialogue to another project. But it was all based around speaking. I haven't done a podcast for a while. They are all still there on Spotify. They're on Mixcloud, Spotify, Apple Music. I have found my podcast out there in loads of different places. So I thought, what would happen if I start putting it on YouTube, putting it live? Not so much me having a conversation with somebody else and just showing you the conversation, but I will have a conversation with whoever's watching. It may develop into bringing somebody else on. That is still an unknown yet. So we're going to take this as a journey, and we're going to take it together. So I'm here, as you saw, with my cuppa. My cuppa has lemon and ginger in it, which is so lemony. And my cup, I got this a good few years ago. It's from Cath Kidston. I've got the tea plate to match. And it's Dachshunds. I own 2 mini Dachshunds. Used to have 3. We lost Elvis a few years ago. So I have Harry, who's Elvis's son, and Bailey. And poor Bailey's about 15 now, and he's so arthritic, and he's poor little legs, and he can't get around very well. And he likes to sit with me on the furniture, and he can't always get where he needs to I suppose the polite term would be to potty. So we've had to resort to nappies. So through the day, if he's going to be on furniture, and also to avoid having to keep washing the bed for him and his little bed, he's nappied. He's getting used to it. He's still able to get around. I mean, he's very slow, he's not very active, but he's still able to get around. But he's my little, have I got a one on the same sort of colour as him? He's more like this. He's lighter. I would say Elvis used to be like this. He was a shaded red. And there isn't one on here like Harry. Harry is black and cream. So there isn't a really dark one on here. But that's where my that's where this cup came from. I saw it and I was like, I need that cup. So it's a little cup that makes me smile. And I think we've all got cups. Sorry, I'm going to put this down now. We've all got cups that have little memories. So I found that while I was doing the projects on the podcast, we always took a photograph of the person with the cup that they were drinking out of. And I heard stories about these cups and where they'd got them from and what they meant to them. And it was really interesting. One of my podcasts I did, me and a friend were trying to work out, it was about, have you ever run out of wine glasses and had to drink wine out of a cup? That's what started it. So it was like, does it taste different? Could you drink your tea or your coffee out of your wine glass? So we decided to bring something different that wasn't a usual drinking vessel to the conversation. I bought a teapot and drunk from the spout, but I drank coffee out of the spout of the teapot, sorry. And they made their cup of tea in a frying pan and drank it with a spoon. But we both realised that even though we hadn't used cups, we had still drunk out of items you would found in the kitchen. So you were like, we've still sort of kept the same rule. So we were left by the end of it going, do we do it with non-kitchen implements? And it's never happened, but I really wonder about what would happen if we decided to take it that one step further and not allow anything from the kitchen to be used, or anything that would be used for normal eating, drinking, cooking purposes. I've got no idea. Absolutely no idea. I wonder whether I would set up in the bathroom and put the plug in the sink and make my cup of tea in the sink in the bathroom. I don't know. But this is the sort of things that came up in these conversations. So the difference I think that this is going to be on here is I may just talk about maybe something I've seen that day. It may be a news article. It may be something one of my dogs has done. I don't know. I'm not going to really plan it, which is possibly bad, but I still like to be that little bit of spontaneous. I don't know. Absolutely happy for people to drop me stuff and say, do you fancy doing something like this? What, look at this. And I won't look at it until I go live. I just think sometimes we plan too much. There are times when planning's right, but I'm not sure that this streams I'm going to be doing is the right time to plan. Unless I'm going to be looking at a subject that I really feel I need to look at in advance, but I tend not to plan too much about what I'm going to speak about, so there's probably not any research that needs doing. But I really want you to come along the journey with us. So I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to go and finish the rest of my cuppa. I've got my biscuits there. There's That is an old digestive biscuit tin that a packet of biscuits always sits in, whether they're digestives or rich teas, whatever, ginger nuts or Oaties fits in as well. And it always just sits there, and I've always got a biscuit if I need it. Sometimes you want a biscuit with your cup of tea. So that's, I suppose, how it's going to work. Let's just wait and see what happens. It's a journey none of us know. So until I come back on with my cuppa, we'll see what happens. Take care.